Dear friends, humanity is on thin ice, and that ice is melting fast. As today's report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, details, humans are responsible for virtually all global heating over the last 200 years. The rate of temperature rise in the last half century is the highest in 2,000 years. Concentrations of carbon dioxide are at their highest in at least 2 million years. The climate time bomb is ticking.
Look, most of what you heard there from the Secretary General of the United Nations is what you've heard before. We're at record levels of this and that, and the worst this and that we've ever had. That video could be from a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, because we keep breaking records in those areas, but not everything was so repetitive. Saying the climate time bomb is here should draw the eyes, the attention of everyone around the world who wants us to have a world that we can continue to inhabit. But we'll see. We'll see if people pay attention. The warnings are as clear as they have ever been. For the first time, he said that developed countries must reach net zero as close to 2040 as possible, far earlier than the 2050 deadline a lot of countries, including the US and the UK, have already pledged to meet. To limit warming to 1.5 degrees globally Celsius, global levels of planet heating pollution must fall by 60% by 2035 compared with 2019. And we throw around like 2030, 2035 quite a bit. But bear in mind, we've been regularly talking about this for 4 years, 5 years just on this program. That is a big chunk of the time to get to there. And so we need to make progress faster than ever before. I'm gonna highlight just a few of the recommendations from this IPCC report. Both the report, that's available, some great roundups of it, especially from international news outlets, because America rarely cares about this stuff, are available if you'd like the full details. But recommendations include no new coal and the phasing out of coal by 2030 in OECD countries and 2040 in all other countries. So in the relatively immediate future, getting rid of all coal, ending all international public and private funding of coal, obviously is an important prerequisite to that. Ensuring net zero electricity generation by 2035 for all developed countries and 2040 for everyone else. Ceasing all licensing or funding of new oil and gas. Stopping any expansion of existing oil and gas reserves. Shifting subsidies from fossil fuels to a just energy transition, and establishing a global phase down of existing oil and gas production. I think it is fairly obvious what the issues in achieving those goals are. It is the massive money and political, like, accrued power and advantage from the lobbies that would be harmed by this transition. Yasmin, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's obviously frustrating that we've gotten yet another climate report that is so dire and is so much less hopeful than we'd like it to be. And it's very frustrating that we haven't made any progress, at least not in the direction that we were hoping to. I will never understand how global leaders are so incapable of, one, cooperating with one another and still calling themselves leaders. And I will never understand how any of them don't have any foresight or they don't care to, right? Capitalism isn't a real thing. It's a fake thing that we made up, and we're letting it dictate our actions in this real physical world. And I know, like, the economy is a thing, and there are dire consequences if it gets messed with. But we literally won't have a home anymore if this gets bad enough. And climate change has a ton of negative implications economically as well. And I feel like those don't get spoken about quite as much as they probably should. And of course, we're all disappointed that Joe Biden just approved that Willow drilling project in Alaska after explicitly promising not to. And of course, his motivations were economical. I don't know if he has some kind of long-term plan as to why that would be okay and how he's gonna balance the impacts of that. But I guess we'll have to see, because he's already broken that promise to us.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, look, he passed the climate bill, and then he's undercut it in 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
He's focused on his legacy, and yet again, he keeps undercutting it over and over and over again. Okay, well, look, hopefully, maybe the next generation of activists, next generation of politicians are paying attention to this, and hopefully they can take control very, very soon, because again, we don't have much time. By the way, one concluding thought: by the time the next assessment from the IPCC is prepared in 5 to 7 years, we may have lost any opportunity of reaching that benchmark of 1.5 degrees at that point. That is how quickly we need to make this transition. And we have all of the technology. Everything we need to do this is there, except potentially the political will.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.